order to experience the gift of Jesus' love in my life many times along the journey that I've taken to get to where I am today. And especially in times of indecision and doubt, where I've had to make important life decisions, God has given me direction in order to come up with answers.
I have experienced Jesus throughout my entire life. There have been quite a few bumps in the road along the way, and it's been through the power of prayer and spiritual belief that has gotten me through. There's one poetic verse that I think everybody knows about: footsteps. You see 4 footsteps in the sand, and you know Jesus is walking beside you. And then in times of peril, you see 2 footsteps in the sand, and you wonder why. Well, that's when Jesus has picked you up and carried you. I've heard people talk about being confirmand mentors, and I never really knew exactly what they meant. Serena asked me to be a confirmand mentor last year, and I found that very interesting. I found the kids to be creative, expressive, and it was interesting to see their faith development continue on with their life. And on the day of confirmation, the most interesting thing, I looked around, is to see the expression on their parents' face. It was one of complete blessing. It was almost like they had a halo around their head. They were just very happy.
I see Jesus revealed in my daily life when I see other Christians using their talents, their time, and their financial resources to do good for others. And what this does is motivate me to do the same.
I see Jesus in my daily life is in the fact that he has blessed me with the gift of life. As I age, so far health has been pretty good, and it's just been a blessing that there never seems to be enough time to do the things that I would like to do in God's world.
Well, by associating with other people in the Ezekiel community, I see a lot of giving here. I see a lot of people giving their time and talents to support the church and to help others. And this motivates me also as a Christian to do the same kind of thing. So this is a positive reinforcement for me.
And for me in the Ezekiel community, I've took up the hobby of quilting, and to be able to continue it with the Ezekiel quilters. The ladies are creative, they're strong, they're willing to work. It's a big social. There's a lot of laughter when you go up there. On Mondays for the 8 weeks in the fall and the 8 weeks in the spring, and they're great cooks, because at the end of the session we have a devotion, and then we get to enjoy the fruits of their kitchen. And not only that, but our quilts are available for the auction at Journey House locally. They go up to Luther Point Camp, and this year we had a ton of things go up there, and Luther Point made about $14,000. And then they go to Dignity Quilts at the River Falls Hospital, and also for infusion unit, we had some lab quilts that go there. And then they go to Lutheran World Relief. I was surprised by Jesus' love. The day you came, Pastor Mark came over to me and asked me to be part of the adult education. You have to take into the effect that I was an accountant my career. You had a big desk, started out with the adding machine and the green columnar tablets, progressing to bigger, faster computers, downloads, massive files in a cubicle where you're by yourself and you really didn't talk to people. And I said yes to you. And I thought, after I did that, I thought, oh my word, Jesus did that. Because I thought, the thought that came to my mind was, who needs this? Is it the attendees, or is it me that needs to do the investigation to bring Jesus' word to the congregation, to those who attend adult ed? And I have found it to be very interesting. Sometimes I'll pick a topic and I'll say, where do I start? And I just open a book or go to the library and start researching. But Jesus finds a way. I always end up with a route, not necessarily the route that I wanted to go, but the route that he chose. I just wish that people would come to adult ed.
Well, I'm surprised in daily life by the number of opportunities that we have to express our Christian faith by helping others and by doing good works. Dot and I were at a music festival in St. Paul this summer, and we were crossing the street and saw that a man in a wheelchair was having trouble getting up the curb. And his wife was trying to push him, but the wheelchair was stuck in a rut. And all these people were going by, but they weren't trying to help. So I stopped and helped the guy. And it turned out the woman wasn't his wife, who was just a passerby. So I got the guy up the curb, and I says, well, have a good day. And he says, hey buddy, can you push me to the bus stop?
Which was all the way up the hill.
So I pushed the guy a block and a half, but he needed help, and I could not see not helping him. So I am surprised by the opportunities that we have to share God's love and to help other people. Christian life is replenished here at Ezekiel by doing several things. First off, by attending worship, where our Christian faith is affirmed, by prayer, and getting involved in volunteering activities at Ezekiel as well as around the town.
My life is replenished in the fact that God has truly blessed both of us. We retired early, and I was extremely fearful of the fact that how are we going to live? But God Dick was resourceful, thanks to God, blessing him with financial skills. And we feel fortunate that we picked a generous town and a good church to become members.
We're blessed to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how can we pass on this legacy of generosity in our Ezekiel community? What kind of thoughts do you have about that, passing on?
Well, I think that the Ezekiel community can pass on the gifts of generosity by continuing to offer many programs that all people can participate in. Not everybody can participate in everything, but by having a variety of programs, people can serve Ezekiel, serve their community, and serve the world by volunteering, using special talents, and also making financial contributions. I see the generosity of Ezekiel basically in one way through outreach. For example, we have monthly religious services at nursing homes. So it's an example of outreach to people that can't necessarily get to a church. But the ministry at Ezekiel that I'm most impressed with is our youth ministry. You know, all churches have Sunday school, all churches have Vacation Bible School, but Ezekiel does much more for its youth. For example, sending all kids who want to go to the Luther Point Bible Camp is an example. Another big example of youth ministry is sending the youth on mission trips. For example, to Colorado and to the Sunshine School in Jamaica. Getting youth involved in stewardship activities like this enhances their Christian growth and Christian faith. As another example of volunteering, I am associated with Habitat for Humanity builds in the area, and several members of our congregation went down there on a weekly or monthly basis and helped build the homes there at Echo Village. And also Thrivent had several Saturday builds led by John Levi, where many members of our congregation participated. When we go to do a Habitat build, we do everything from putting up sheetrock to framing interior walls, exterior walls, to laying flooring, insulation. So there's a lot of things we do. Some things I do better, some things I don't do better, but at least it gets done.
And then I'm involved in the St. Croix Master Gardener Association, and that's been very interesting. I found out that working in the garden, I've been doing things wrong over the years, which have been corrected. And we have a demo garden out at Hoffman Park, and we work in association with Grow to Share. So the produce that we gather goes to the food shelf in town, and it goes to the housing authority. And I took some produce to the housing authority recently, and they were very grateful to receive it. So I see it as a good thing.
Example of Ezekiel's Outreach is a support of the House of Charity in a mission in Minneapolis. And what we do is, what Ezekiel does is once a quarter, we take donated clothing items to the House of Charity, and we also assist them in providing lunches for the guests. As a retiree, I have a lot of time on my hands, and sometimes it's important to be able to get out of the house.